So to begin with, I'm going to give you a little bit of a core activation prep that we do here. So I'm going to have Martina bend your knees. And the first thing I want you to do is tip your pelvis back and forth. So notice you can flatten it as you're tipping it back and forth. I don't want you to actually use your glutes. Just notice as you rock back and forth, there's a little bit of abdominal work going on there as you tip back and forth. And then you come to rest in what you would just be in a comfortable position for you today at 8 weeks postpartum. And I want you to notice how much space do you have underneath that belly button area. How much goes under there? A hand, about a palm width? Okay. So normal width or space underneath your low back and right underneath the belly button area should be about a grape or enough to fit the palm of your hand. And you certainly, having your whole arm slide under your back would be a little bit excessive, and that's definitely more related to what I would call that Donald Duck posturing. And if it's completely flat, then you're more likely to be more of a Pink Panther. That will affect which posturing I give you for starting your abdominal core work. So now I'm going to have you make a triangle with your hands and place that thumb in the belly button. So it's on the belly button in the thumb area, and the fingertips go down toward your lower abdomen there. I want you to visualize that triangle almost as a coaster. And now I want you to tip the pelvis back again. So as you tip back and flatten the back, I want you to get that visual that when you're in a flat back position, if I had a glass of water here, it would pour all over your chest. And now I'm going to have you tip it the other way. And when you tip it the other way, now the water's pouring out between your legs, and you're out of, say, that neutral position for you, and then bring it back into a level position. So when you're in the level position, that triangle should feel that it is level or, say, parallel with the floor, and that you could have a drink on there and you feel fairly comfortable with that, right? Now, how does that feel for you? Fine. So now I want you to take a breath in and just breathe naturally. You're just breathing here and you're just noticing. I just want you to notice that when you breathe in, does the coaster go up? And as you exhale, does the coaster go down? Yeah, so it does happen. So for a couple of you out there, you might find that, hey buddy, that as the coaster, you might find, ooh, my coaster doesn't go up and down. So in diaphragmatic breath, when we use the belly and the diaphragm properly, the belly should, as you inhale, the coaster would come up, and as you exhale, it would come back down. This is an excellent technique for you to just practice if you have trouble sleeping. I usually, don't visualize my coaster, but you could put, I have little rubber ducks I often put there, and I teach people to just breathe and let the duck go up and down, and you'll put yourself to sleep pretty quickly. So that deep breathing can put you into a very parasympathetic state and make your whole nervous system calm down. So for some of you, you might find that, oh my gosh, I don't move at all through here. Martina's good with this. It's not happening for you. But for some of you out there, you might be saying, uh-oh, I'm not breathing. What that means is that you're really using only the upper quadrant of your lungs to do your breathing, and you're really not accessing the lower lobes of your lung in a diaphragmatic breath. That will also affect your core and the core strength. So practice the diaphragmatic breath, because I really want that activation so that you can continue through the program and get the most out of your work. The next exercise that we're going to prepare for is that core activation. So what you're going to do here, we're talking about the floor. So these are the muscles that you would use. You might have heard them referred to as a Kegel. So I want you to draw your pelvic floor up. So it's the same muscles you would use if you were trying to urinate and you're going to stop the urine. But you're going to draw that pelvic floor up, and then I want you to draw your belly button down towards your spine, and then think of it as coming out your head. And then you're holding that contraction, but you're still breathing, and then let it release. Now my first question is always, did you feel the contraction? Were you able to find it? Okay. So for some of you out there, you may not have found it. So I want you to place your hand underneath the, right underneath your belly button in the small of your back. So under, we're going under. Going under. And what you're going to do here is you've got the hand there. I want you to think of lifting the floor up and then drawing the belly button down towards your hand using your abdominals. Don't squeeze on your butt cheeks to do this, or press your feet into the ground. You're using your abdominals. Think of the reins of a horse. Like you're going to pull, your hip flexors come up into this area. So I want you to think of pull the reins of the horse back as you use your abdominals to create that sense of pulling back without actually structurally moving anything. And can you feel pressure on your hand? You got it? When you feel the floor coming up, you feel the reins of the horse pulling back, you dissipate it out through the top of your spine so it's leading out your head. You feel that strong contraction, you're breathing, and then release. I'm sure that was more than 10 seconds. How did it feel? Good. Felt okay? Yeah. All right. So that, if you know, the first question is yes, could you find that feeling? If you can't, I need you to practice this. And once you can start to feel that pressure underneath the hand, now we're going to begin to actually lead you into the exercises. I have 10 exercises for you to do that now start to involve you actually get to move things and use the core mechanics. So if you can't feel this working, you just practice with this one until you can maintain for 10 seconds feeling that pressure work for you. So my next exercise is going to involve a foot lift. So you're going to actually, you could choose to put your hand behind your belly button, or if you can find that contraction, I think you're pretty good without it. You may not need to have your hand here.